The season of Epiphany is a time of revelation when those in the wider world begin to be shown who Jesus really is. And in our readings on Sunday, it was the turn of a small group of Jesus's followers to experience their moment of revelation. I really love the story of the wedding at Cana, where Jesus turns water into wine, not just because I enjoy a glass of wine now and again, especially with a special meal, but because that story has a lot to reveal to us. Jesus' mother Mary is the first to notice the hosts have run out of wine, and she tells Jesus. And at first he doesn't seem too keen on doing anything, but she trusts that he will. She just says to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." And that's what they do. Jesus tells them to fill some enormous jars with water, jars that held water used for ritual cleansing in obedience to the religious laws of the time. They might have thought it was a crazy thing to do, but they got on with it. And then they took some of that water to the chief steward to taste, and he was amazed at how delicious the wine was. Well, we might feel this miracle is a bit trivial compared to something like raising Lazarus from the dead, but in his gospel, John tells us it was a sign, a kind of clue through which Jesus revealed his glory and caused his disciples to put their faith in him. Jesus involved those servants in his plan. In the other reading we had on Sunday from 1 Corinthians 12, Paul taught about God giving each of us gifts to use in God's service for the good of all people. Each of us is different. It really would be rather boring if we were all the same. But God has created us to be unique. He doesn't want us to try to be someone else. He gives us different gifts, not so that we can boast about them, or so that we might feel inadequate or jealous because someone seems more gifted or talented than us, but so that we can work together to serve him and to serve other people. Jesus didn't make a great show of changing water into wine. Only a small group of people actually knew that that wine had started out as ordinary water. Jesus acted with humility, love and compassion to help the bridegroom and his family, who would have been shamed if they hadn't been able to provide enough wine for their feast. He let them take the credit for providing that wonderful choice wine. And Jesus made such a huge amount because God is generous. He offers us his love and his grace in abundance, and he calls us to show that grace and love to others. He calls us to listen to him, to do as he tells us. And when we commit to doing this, we might just be surprised at the result, especially if we prepare to work together and to encourage one another to make full use of our gifts. And that's something to remember in this week of prayer for Christian unity. A prayer. God of community, 3 in 1. May we offer ourselves as different organs in a single body, as many threads in a woven fabric, as diverse stones in a mosaic, as various instruments in an orchestra, as myriad drops in a moving river. May we acknowledge our need of one another, our impoverishment when we act alone. Let us find delight in our interdependence and discover your presence in one another. Amen.